Welcome back to our full-time RV adventure. Today is day 3 in Washington, D.C., where we visit the National Mall. We are staying at the Fort Meade RV campground and taking the train into Washington, D.C. We found the train to be very convenient and easy, and a great way to avoid parking. Our first stop was the National Archives. No trip to Washington, D.C. is complete without seeing the original handwritten copy of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Unfortunately, photography is not allowed inside the archive, but we were able to get a lot of pictures as we toured the National Mall. Touring the National Mall was a wonderful experience and a great way to spend an entire day. We stopped for a picture in front of the Smithsonian Castle, then walked across the green towards the monuments. The Thomas Jefferson Memorial is much larger than I thought it would be, and quiet. It has a great view across the tidal basin towards the Washington Monument, and architecturally is in a straight line with the White House. Thomas Jefferson served as the third President of the United States in March 1801 to March 1809. He was the first president to be inaugurated in the new federal capital of Washington, D.C. The Jefferson Memorial is on 19 acres of land at the south end of the tidal basin of the National Mall. George Mason wrote the Virginia Declaration of Rights, which served as the inspiration for the drafting of the Declaration of Independence. George Mason refused to sign the United States Constitution because it did not abolish the slave trade and lacked necessary protections for the individual from the federal government. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the 32nd President of the United States from 1933 until 1945. He is the only president to serve 4 terms. The first 2 were combating the Great Depression, and the last 2 were focused on World War II. FDR won re-election in 1944 but died in 1945 due to serious health conditions that deteriorated during the war. The next and newest memorial honors the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. and his struggle for freedom, equality, and justice. Next, we saw the District of Columbia's War Memorial, which honors 499 residents of D.C. who died in World War I. The Korean War Memorial is well done and honors those who fought in the war from 1950 to 1953. There are 19 stainless steel statues of soldiers on patrol and evokes the experience of the American ground troops in Korea. At the far end of the National Mall, the Lincoln Memorial overlooks the reflecting pool. We sat on the steps of the memorial for a little while to rest our feet and enjoy the distant view of the Washington Monument and the Capitol Building. The memorial is larger than life, with President Lincoln sitting in his great chair. The Gettysburg Address is also prominently displayed. On the steps of the memorial is an inscription plaque in this location where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. There are 3 parts of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. The first was the 3 Service Member Memorial. The second, and the one that most people are familiar with, is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall. We followed along on a park ranger-led tour. The park ranger gave an excellent and respectful tour, honoring the memory of all those fallen in the war and those missing in action. The Vietnam Memorial Wall is well done and really makes you stop and think of the horror and the costs of war. Lastly, we saw the Women's Vietnam Veteran Memorial. It was time to take a break, and so we sat down, and a fox ran across our path. With stone architecture, bronze statues, and water features, the World War II Memorial honors those who served and those who fell in battle to achieve a great victory to restore freedom and end tyranny around the globe. We spent the entire day touring the National Mall, and it was a spectacular and wonderful experience. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Join us next time as we move to Mount Vernon, Virginia.